She blocked the doorway before I could leave. Her hand pressed against the frame, and she looked at me with eyes that wouldn't let me pretend anymore. "Why do you keep avoiding me, Jason?" The question hung in the air between us like smoke. I stood there in the hallway, frozen, while the party continued behind us in the living room. Music played. People laughed. Nobody noticed we were gone. My mouth went dry. "I'm not avoiding you." "Yes, you are." She stepped closer. "Every time we're in the same room, you find a reason to leave. Every time we start talking, you disappear." I wanted to argue, but the words stuck in my throat because she was right. For months now, I'd been doing exactly that. Running. Hiding. Pretending I didn't feel what I felt every time I saw her. This wasn't how tonight was supposed to go. Let me back up. My name is Jason Hayes. I'm 27 years old. I design websites and logos for small businesses in Portland. Most days I work from my apartment, headphones on, coffee going cold while I lose track of time. It's a good life. Quiet. Safe. Exactly what I wanted after years of chaos. I met Tyler Foster when I was 12. His family moved in next door to mine, and we became friends instantly. The kind of friends who don't need to talk every day but know they can count on each other. His dad traveled for work constantly. His mom Diana raised Tyler mostly on her own. She was always kind to me, always asked how I was doing, always made sure I had a plate of food when I came over. But she was Tyler's mom. That's all she was supposed to be. Then 3 years ago, Tyler's parents got divorced. His dad moved to Seattle. Diana stayed in the house. Tyler was already living downtown by then, working at an architecture firm. I didn't see Diana much after the divorce. Maybe once or twice when I visited Tyler and she stopped by. She seemed different, lighter somehow, like she'd been carrying something heavy and finally put it down. Last year, things shifted. Tyler started inviting me to family dinners again. His mom would be there and we'd all eat and talk and laugh. Normal stuff, except it stopped feeling normal. I started noticing things I shouldn't notice. The way Diana smiled when she talked about her new pottery class. The way she listened when I talked about my work, really listened, asking questions nobody else asked. The way my heart jumped when she walked into a room. I told myself it was nothing. A stupid crush that would fade if I ignored it. So I started making excuses. Can't make dinner, got a deadline. Can't come over, feeling sick. Can't stay long, early meeting tomorrow. Tyler noticed. "You're being weird," he said one day. "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are. You used to come over all the time. Now you always have some excuse." I blamed work. He didn't push it, but I could tell he didn't believe me. Tonight was supposed to be different. Diana was hosting a small gathering at the house. Just close friends and family. Tyler practically begged me to come. "Please, man. My mom keeps asking about you. She thinks you're mad at her or something." That made my stomach twist. The last thing I wanted was for her to think I didn't like her. So I agreed. I showed up at 7 with a bottle of wine I'd spent too long picking out at the store. The house looked the same as I remembered. Warm lights, comfortable furniture, photos on the walls. Diana answered the door wearing a green sweater and jeans. Her hair was shorter than last time I saw her, cut just above her shoulders. She smiled when she saw me, and something in my chest pulled tight. "Jason, I'm so glad you came." She hugged me, quick and friendly, and I tried not to think about how good she smelled, like vanilla and something floral. "Come in." Everyone's in the living room. I followed her inside. Tyler waved from the couch where he sat with his girlfriend Amy. A few other people I recognized were scattered around. Neighbors, family friends, Diana's sister Michelle. I grabbed a beer from the kitchen and settled into a chair near the window. For a while, everything was fine. I talked to Tyler about a project he was working on. I listened to Michelle tell a story about her kids. I laughed at the right times, smiled when I should. But I could feel Diana watching me from across the room. Every time I looked up, her eyes were already on me. It made my skin feel too warm. Around 8:30, I decided I needed air. I stepped out onto the back porch and stood there in the cool October night, trying to calm down. The door opened behind me. I knew who it was before I turned around. Diana stood in the doorway, arms crossed. You okay? Yeah. Just needed a break from the noise. She nodded and came to stand beside me at the railing. We both looked out at the dark yard. The silence stretched between us. You've been distant lately. Her voice was soft, not accusing, just honest. I opened my mouth to deny it, but she continued. Tyler thinks it's work stress, but I don't think that's it. My hands gripped the railing. Diana, I should probably go. There it is again. She turned to face me fully. You're doing it right now. Doing what? Running. Jason, did I do something wrong? Did I say something that upset you? No. I said it too quickly. Then what is it? Because I miss you. I miss having you around. I miss our conversations. And I can't figure out what changed. Everything changed. The words almost came out, but I swallowed them. Nothing changed. I've just been busy. She studied my face for a long moment. I don't believe you. I need to go. I moved toward the door, but she stepped in front of me. That's when she asked the question. Why do you keep avoiding me? I stared at her, heart hammering. Because I can't be around you without wanting things I shouldn't want. The thought screamed in my head, but I couldn't say it out loud. Diana, please. Talk to me. Her hand lifted like she might touch my arm, then dropped. Whatever this is, we can figure it out. You're important to me, Jason. You're important to Tyler. We both care about you. That word, care. It wasn't enough and too much at the same time. I have to go. I pushed past her, gentle but firm, and walked back through the house. Tyler looked up as I grabbed my jacket. You leaving already? Yeah. I'm not feeling great. His face fell. Oh, okay. Feel better, man. I nodded and headed for the front door. The rain had started while I was inside. Cold drops hit my face as I walked down the driveway toward my truck. I heard the door open behind me, heard footsteps on the wet pavement. Jason, wait. I kept walking. Please, just stop for a second. Something in her voice made me stop. I stood there in the rain, hands in my pockets, not turning around. She came up behind me. I could hear her breathing, quick and uneven. Why are you running from me? I finally turned. She stood a few feet away, rain already soaking her hair, and the look on her face broke something inside me. I'm not running from you. Then what are you doing? Her voice cracked. Because it feels like you can't stand to be near me anymore. That's not true. Then tell me what's true. Tell me why you disappeared. Tell me why you look at me like I'm someone you used to know instead of someone you've known for 15 years. The rain fell harder. We stood there staring at each other, and I knew this moment was going to change everything whether I wanted it to or not. Couldn't breathe right. The rain kept coming down, and Diana stood there waiting for an answer I didn't know how to give. Water dripped from her hair down her face. She didn't bother wiping it away. Jason, say something. Anything. I don't know what you want me to say. The truth would be a good start. My jaw clenched. The truth isn't simple. Try anyway. I looked back toward the house. Warm light glowed through the windows. Tyler was in there. Our friends were in there. Everything safe and normal was in there. Out here in the rain, nothing felt safe. You really want to know? I asked. Yes. I've wanted to know for months. I dragged my hands through my wet hair. Fine. I've been avoiding you because being around you got complicated. Complicated how? You know how. I said it quietly, but she heard me. Her expression shifted. Something like understanding crossed her face, but she didn't back away. No. She shook her head. You don't get to say something like that and leave. You need to explain. My heart pounded so hard I thought she might hear it over the rain. I can't. Why not? Because you're Tyler's mom. Because you're 17 years older than me. Because this is wrong. She flinched, but her voice stayed steady. Wrong because of what other people would think, or wrong because of what you feel? Both. Neither. I don't know. I turned away. This is exactly why I've been staying away. I knew if we talked, if we were alone, I wouldn't be able to keep pretending. Jason. Her voice was softer now. Look at me. I turned back. She'd stepped closer. Do you think you're the only one who's been pretending? Of ruining everything. Of losing Tyler. Of people judging you. Of this being some weird thing I built up in my head that isn't actually real. What if it is real? She asked quietly. Then that's even more terrifying. Why? Because I don't know how to do this. I gestured between us. I don't know what this even is. Do you?
No.
But I know what it's not. She held my gaze. It's not nothing. It's not going away. And it's not going to get easier if we keep ignoring it. Someone laughed inside the house. The sound carried through the rain. The world kept moving while we stood here trying to figure out something that felt impossible. What do you want from me? I asked. Honesty. Just honesty. Tell me what you're thinking. What you're feeling. Stop running long enough to let me understand what's happening. I looked at her. Really looked at her. Not as Tyler's mom. Not as someone I'd known my whole life. Just as Diana. A woman standing in the rain, asking me to be brave. I think about you all the time. The words came out rough. When I'm working, when I'm trying to sleep, when I'm supposed to be focused on anything else. You're always there in the back of my mind. I come up with excuses not to see you because seeing you makes it worse. Makes me want things I have no right to want. Like what? Like touching you. Like knowing what you think about before you fall asleep. Like being the person who makes you smile the way you smiled at me that night in the kitchen. Her eyes softened. Jason, that's why I left tonight, I said. Because sitting in that room with you, watching you laugh and move and exist, knowing I couldn't do anything about how I felt, it was killing me. She reached out slowly and took my hand. Her fingers were cold and wet, but they wrapped around mine like they belonged there. I thought I was alone in this.
No.
I shook my head. You were never alone in this. The rain had almost stopped. Mist hung in the air. Her thumb moved against my palm, and I realized we were standing here holding hands in front of the house where anyone could see. We should talk somewhere else, she said. Somewhere private. When? Tomorrow. Come to my pottery studio tomorrow morning.
10 o'clock.
We'll figure this out away from everyone else. What about tonight? What about it? Do we just go back inside and pretend this didn't happen? She thought about it. We go back inside. We stay for another hour. We act normal. And then tomorrow we stop pretending. I nodded slowly. Okay. 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 She smiled, small but real, and it made my chest ache. We should probably stop holding hands before someone sees. She was right, but neither of us let go immediately. Finally, she pulled away and stepped back. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. She walked back toward the house, and I stood there watching her go. My hands still felt warm where hers had been. I waited a few minutes before following. When I walked back inside, Tyler looked up from the couch. Feeling better? A little. Elite. Diana was in the kitchen talking to her sister. She glanced at me once, quick and private, then looked away. The rest of the night crawled by. Every minute felt like 10. I made conversation. I laughed at jokes. I acted like everything was normal. But under it all, my mind was racing. Tomorrow morning.
10 o'clock.
Everything was about to change. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Diana standing in the rain, asking me to be honest. Every time I started to drift off, my brain reminded me about tomorrow at 10. By the time my alarm went off at 7, I'd been awake for an hour already, staring at the ceiling. I got up and made coffee, sat at my kitchen table watching the sky turn from gray to pale blue. My phone sat in front of me like a bomb. I kept expecting a text from her saying she'd changed her mind, that last night was a mistake, that we should forget the whole thing. But nothing came. At 9:30, I got in my truck and drove across town to the Arts District where Diana rented studio space. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. I parked outside a brick building with big windows and sat there for 5 minutes, trying to convince myself to go inside. A knock on my window made me jump. Diana stood there in paint-stained jeans and a gray t-shirt, hair pulled back, no makeup. She looked more nervous than I'd ever seen her. You coming in? Or are you going to sit out here all day? I got out of the truck.
Sorry.
It's okay. She gave me a small smile. I'm nervous too. We walked inside together. The building smelled like clay and paint and something earthy I couldn't name. Her studio was on the second floor. A bright open space with tall windows and shelves full of pottery in different stages. Bowls, mugs, vases, some painted, some plain. This is where you've been spending your time? I asked. 3 days a week. She closed the door behind us. It helps me think. I walked around, looking at everything. Some pieces were smooth and perfect. Others looked like she'd been working through something rough, all jagged edges and strange shapes. These are incredible. Thanks. She leaned against her work table. I started coming here after the divorce. Needed something that was just mine, you know? Something that had nothing to do with being someone's wife or someone's mother. I picked up a small bowl, dark blue with flecks of white, like stars. This one's my favorite. She came over to stand beside me. I made that one on a really bad day. I was angry and sad and confused, and I just kept working the clay until it became something beautiful. Kind of like life, I guess. I set it down carefully. Diana, about last night. Before you say anything, let me go first. She turned to face me fully. I've been thinking about what I want to say, and if I don't say it now, I might lose my nerve. Okay. I've spent most of my adult life doing what other people expected, she said. I married young because that's what you were supposed to do. I stayed home with Tyler because that's what good mothers did. I stayed in a marriage that stopped working years ago because divorce felt like failure. I'm 54 years old, and I'm just now figuring out who I am without all those expectations. I listened, not interrupting. When you started coming around again last year, something woke up inside me that I thought was dead. She continued. You looked at me like I was interesting, like my thoughts mattered, like I was more than just someone's mother. And that terrified me because you were off limits in every possible way. But I can't keep living my life based on what other people think. I've done that for too long. Her voice got stronger. So I need to know, is this real for you? Or is it some fantasy that sounds good until it gets complicated? It's real, I said without hesitation. I don't know what it is or where it goes, but it's real. She nodded slowly. What about Tyler? I thought about my best friend, about 15 years of friendship, about all the ways this could blow up in our faces. He's going to have opinions. He'll probably be weird about it at first. But he also said he'd rather know than watch us be miserable. Right? She smiled a little. He did say that. And if people talk, they will talk. Let them, she said firmly. I'm done shrinking my life to make other people comfortable. We stood there in her studio with pottery all around us, and something shifted. The fear didn't disappear, but it got smaller, more manageable. So what do we do now? I asked. We figure it out as we go, she said. No rusing, no assumptions. Just honest communication and see where this takes us. I can do that. Good. She stepped closer. Because I really want to see where this goes. Me too. Before I could think too hard about it, I reached out and tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear. Her breath caught. She didn't pull away. Can I kiss you? I asked. I thought you'd never ask. I leaned in slowly, giving her time to change her mind. But she met me halfway, and when our lips touched, everything else fell away. The kiss was soft at first, tentative, like we were both still afraid we might break something. Then her hand came up to my face, and I pulled her closer, and it deepened into something that felt like coming home. When we pulled apart, we were both breathing hard. Wow, she whispered. Yeah. We stood there for a moment, foreheads almost touching. Her hands were on my shoulders. Mine were on her waist. This is really happening, she said. Is that okay? More than okay. We spent the rest of the morning in her studio. She showed me how to work the pottery wheel. I was terrible at it. The clay kept collapsing or spinning off in weird directions. She stood behind me, her hands guiding mine, and I stopped caring about the pottery at all. Around noon, my phone buzzed. A text from Tyler. "Hey man, you free for lunch?" My stomach dropped. Diana saw my face. "What's wrong?" "Tyler wants to have lunch." She bit her lip. "You should go." "Really? We can't hide forever," she said. "And the longer we wait to tell him, the harder it'll be." "You want me to tell him today?" "I think you should." She squeezed my hand. "Rip the Band-Aid off." I took a deep breath. "Okay. Yeah. You're right." I texted back that I'd meet him at our usual sandwich place in 30 minutes. Diana walked me to the door. "Hey!" She caught my hand before I could leave. "However he reacts, we'll deal with it together. Okay?" "Okay." I kissed her one more time, then headed out. The drive to the sandwich shop took 15 minutes. I spent the whole time rehearsing what I'd say. Tyler was already there when I arrived, sitting in our regular booth by the window. He waved when he saw me. "You look terrible," he said as I sat down. "Did you sleep at all?" "Not really." He frowned. "You sick or something?"
No.
I paused. "Tyler, I need to talk to you about something." "That sounds serious." "It is." The waitress came over and took our orders. I barely heard what I asked for. When she left, Tyler leaned back and crossed his arms. "All right, what's going on? You've been acting weird for months. And last night you bolted from my mom's party like the place was on fire." I took a deep breath. "There's something happening between me and your mom." The words hung there. Tyler didn't move, didn't blink, just stared at me. "Between you and my mom," he repeated slowly. "Yeah." "What kind of something?" "The kind where we have feelings for each other. The kind where we're going to see where it goes." His expression was unreadable. "How long?" "A few months. Maybe longer. I've been trying to ignore it, but I can't anymore." "And my mom feels the same way?" "Yes." Tyler was quiet for a long moment. Then he started laughing. Not mean laughter, just genuine, surprised laughter. "I knew it." "What?" "I knew something was going on." He shook his head. "Amy owes me $20. You bet on this?" He grinned. "You both got so weird around each other. It was obvious. I thought maybe you'd never actually do anything about it, but Amy said you would eventually." I sat back, stunned. "You're not mad." "Why would I be mad?" "Because she's your mom. She's also a person," he said simply. "A person who's been alone for 3 years. A person who deserves to be happy. And you're my best friend. Also a person who deserves to be happy. If you make each other happy, why would I be mad?" I didn't know what to say. Tyler leaned forward. "Look, is it a little weird?" "Sure. Am I gonna need time to adjust to seeing you guys together?" "Probably. But you're both adults. You're both good people. And honestly, after watching my mom go through that divorce and seeing how much it broke her, if you can make her smile again, I'm all for it." The relief hit me so hard I felt dizzy. "You mean that?" "Yeah, I mean it," he said. "Just don't hurt her. Because if you hurt her, best friend or not, I'll kick your ass." "I won't hurt her." "Good." Our food arrived. Tyler picked up his sandwich and took a bite, completely casual. "So are you going to tell everyone? Or is this a secret thing?" "We haven't figured that out yet." "Take your time," he said. "But for what it's worth, I think you should just own it. People are going to talk either way. Might as well give them something real to talk about." After lunch, I drove back to Diana's studio. She was cleaning up when I walked in. "How did it go?" "He's okay with it." Her whole body relaxed. "Really? Really?" He said we deserve to be happy." She laughed, and it sounded like relief and joy mixed together. "I told you he'd come around." "You were right." Pulled her into a hug. "About a lot of things." We spent the rest of the afternoon together, talking and laughing and stealing kisses between conversations. For the first time in months, I wasn't running, and it felt like exactly where I was supposed to be. 3 months later, I woke up to someone making noise in my kitchen. I stumbled out of bed and found Diana at the stove, making scrambled eggs in one of my t-shirts. "Good morning," she said, smiling over her shoulder. I walked up behind her and wrapped my arms around her waist. Best way to wake up. She leaned back against me. I'm making breakfast. I can see that. I kissed her neck. When did you get here? About an hour ago. I couldn't sleep at my place, so I drove over. Figured you wouldn't mind. Never. She turned in my arms and kissed me properly. The eggs can wait a minute. They definitely could. We'd been taking things slow, or at least what passed for slow when you were two people who'd been circling each other for years. She stayed over a few nights a week. I stayed at her place sometimes too. We had dinner together. Worked in the same room sometimes, her sketching pottery designs while I worked on website layouts. Felt easy. Natural.